So let us turn to the next very important part, evaluation. You have to evaluate these initiatives, otherwise we don't know whether they make any sense. Do they actually lead to innovation? Do they lead to more sales, or do they lead to new product developments? So Staffan, you have a lot of experience with this on evaluation. How do you evaluate such cluster programs or cluster initiatives?
Well, for us it has been very important as a regional part to see what is the result that comes out of these cluster organizations, because our politicians, they want to see what can they invest in and what will give the best results in terms of growth. So we have worked about 7 years with evaluation, and we see that it's an important tool for regional development in European regions. We can, through our model here, which I will describe, also see that EU funding, right used, will contribute to a knowledge-based economy. If I go to the model here, we focus in cooperation between 3 different parties. This is the triple helix model. First, we see the companies. This is the cluster companies, and our evaluation shows that the cluster companies wants to grow more than other companies in the region. So this actually says that the companies who wants to make change and to grow, they are looking for these cluster managers, as we have seen here, because they think that here you can earn some extra money. We also see that the society, the regional governance, the regional leadership has an important role to play in supporting cooperation, have the long-term sight, and by evaluation annually getting new clues to how to proceed in the future, and also have the dialogue for learning between different actors. And the third party here, the university, is also an important actor, because the new knowledge is developing from the university by professors, by researchers and students, and by cooperating between these parties in what we call an innovative platform. You have heard about these test labs and so on. We have seen that if we focus in each cluster organizations on one asset, one innovative platform where the innovation can take place, and when the meetings between the actors can take place, we see that by our evaluation that 19% of the companies which has been asked says that they get increased industry research by the cooperation. We see that about 40% says that this leads to new product and services, new patents, and also spin-offs, which leads to new companies. But we also, which is very important, see that being part of this cluster organization, we have the business development, the growth in the companies. 31% of the company says that we can increase our sales by being part of this cluster organization. And in the end here, we also see that human resources, by having a common asset, a cluster organization which is well known, this will attract skilled people to move into the region, but also students to going from projects into employment in the companies. So in the end, I would say it's important to have this evaluation tool and doing it annually to gather knowledge from the users, the companies. What do they believe that the results and the efforts are doing? To also to follow the social processes in the region. What is happening and how can we make it even better? And then also see the long-term perspective. We're talking about 5 to 10 years to see a strategic difference in action here.
Thank you. comment on this?
What we're hearing in part here is a focus on let's measure the health of the cluster. Let's measure fundamentally the strategic health of that cluster. But also let's measure the impact, the scale of the intervention that we're introducing. And when it comes to measuring, need to be able to work at those two levels. Important, therefore, as we start a clustering initiative, to gather some baseline data. What exactly have we got at the moment within our cluster? So we can hopefully measure progress over time.
Yes. Thank you for this, and thank you to the experts. So today we have talked about the important role of cluster management and understanding how to manage clusters. This is something we talked about in the first program, that more and more we are trying not just to rely on market forces, but also to help in constructing clusters. And we heard some views on how you do this. We heard about the activities that you can engage in. We heard about the governance and financing. We heard about the important role of the cluster manager. And finally, we heard about the important role of evaluation of these. So with this, I'd like to conclude and thank you for viewing the program. And again, say that if you so wish, there are books and reports that you can download at the European Cluster Observatory about clusters and about cluster management. So thank you for coming here. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you, Örjan.
Have a good trip back to Nelson.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much to the experts group. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.